All right. And we are good to go. All right. So, good afternoon, everyone who is tuning in or whoever will be tuning in later. My name is Wesley Funches. I am the executive director of Lily Kate. As you know, we provide scholarships to minorities who are going through PA school. We also have a couple other initiatives that we've done, such as the White Coat Initiative that we did that was pretty successful, and we also did a pants scholarship thing that was also done as well. So again, I always start off by saying if you feel as though what we're doing is needed or what we're doing is a benefit to anybody and you want to contribute, please, please, please go to www.lily-kate.com. Click on the donate button in the upper right hand corner and make a donation. But that's not why we're here today. Today, we are here because we are going to be talking to Mr. Fritz. Could you pronounce your last name for me, sir?
Butler.
Batiller. Okay, so Mr. Fritz Batiller. He is a former accountant. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Who is currently in PA school. He has been gracious enough to talk with us about the financial struggles of PA school and also giving us some tips and tricks as far as how to manage going through PA school. And I believe that you also do some advocacy work. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm also on the House of Delegates student delegate for AAPA.
That is correct. So thank you so much for tuning in. Well, for logging in today and talking with me.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, so we're going to get all of the your story out of the way because I know most people want to talk about how to better manage PA school. And also, if you are live and you have any questions, I do have the chat open. Please feel free to drop a comment or a question in the chat. I will also add my website. So if you want to send any message afterwards, you can go there to leave a message. So, first question, what college do you attend, sir?
Sure. So I currently go to the Macon and Joan Brock Virginia Health Sciences at Old Dominion University, formerly known as Eastern Virginia Medical School.
Exactly. And how much does it cost to attend that school?
So I'm originally from California and I moved across the country to start here. So I have out-of-state tuition, and so the total cost of attendance without loan fees is about $217,000. I know it's a lot.
That is a lot of money for PA school. Oh my goodness. Oh,
Yeah,
whew, who that hits? Oh man.
yeah,
Do
but
you
it's
have
still cheaper than going to PA school in California.
and that's one thing that I really wanted to talk about because when we are talking initially, you were talking about the fact that you told me your loan cost, and I was like, wow, that's a lot. And you were saying that it was actually cheaper than going to this a school in California. So my
That's
first
right.
question was, were you accepted to any schools in California, or did you just look at the cost?
I did both, but I was not accepted to any schools in California. I applied to 14 schools and didn't get any in California.
Okay, so how much does it cost to attend a school in California that you saw?
I think it's more than 217,000, that's for sure. And that doesn't even include like how much rent will be and like, gas and all these other things
Oh,
that are more expensive.
yeah, and we're going to get into all of that too, of course.
Yes,
Do you have any undergraduate loans as well, or no?
I do. I went to the University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA, and I had about 20 grand. I was hoping that it was going to be forgiven, but it was
Mm.
not.
So we're looking at about $237,000, and
Yes.
that is a lot of money. Now, with you
Yes.
having undergraduate loans, of course, with most people, undergrad versus graduate is always the same thing. You apply for loans, you get
Yes.
approved, the money gets sent to the school, and then the school disperses the money to the students. So,
That's
what
correct.
was it like dealing with the financial aid at your school?
So I was in this unique situation where our school actually got bought out by Old Dominion University. So there was a point where we were actually talking to two different financial aid offices, one for my program and then one for the whole university. And there were a couple of hiccups, as you would see with whenever you do mergers and acquisitions. So sometimes one of the things that was really annoying is that your disbursement didn't come on time. And the problem with that is when you have bills like, you got rent due at the first of the month and you got, car bills and all that fun stuff, that stuff will always come on time, even if your disbursement does not. So one thing that I would say is even with the loans, make sure that you have extra or like have savings just to cover those costs, because if the financial aid doesn't come in on time, you still have to pay the bill.
And here's the thing with that. You are the third person that I've talked to about financial struggles with PA school. And you are the third person to say, hey, the disbursements sometimes don't come out on time, and we still got bills and things that we have to take care of. Now, luckily, all the people that I've talked to have also said, hey, it didn't bother me that much because I had a savings and all that kind of stuff. But not everybody has that luxury. So,
Right.
was there ever any situations where you encountered like a financial extra cost because the disbursement wasn't given on time?
Yeah, I mean, if I didn't have savings, like that rent will be late, and where I'm renting right now, it's like there's like a 10% fee if you don't pay it on time. So
Yeah.
like luckily for me, like I calculated this much to have like in savings, and I definitely dug deeper than I had wanted to, but I had enough. Like I planned for these kinds of things. And it's not just for me, like I have two older parents and I still manage their finances as well. Like I pay for their cell phone bill. So it's like I had to pretty much like branch out my resources and stretch them out, not just for me, but for my family as well. And then also just to make sure that I have enough money to like to come back home for like, for example, I'm actually going back home to LA in a few days because we have this little gap before graduation. So like just having like some space and some time for and some money for that too. People don't really consider or think about this, but when you're in PA school, you're not working. I would highly not recommend working while during PA school. And so when that means that whenever you start school, whatever money you have, that's it, plus the student loans that you get.
So with that, um, I want to talk about the cost that it costs for you to actually get into PA school because you just said that you applied to about 14 schools in California.
Yes.
And how much did it cost to apply to all of those schools?
It was expensive. Well, so luckily I had one scholarship from Marshall B. Ketchum University, and that paid for one of my application fees. So when you pay for one, I think it's like, because CASPA just opened, so I don't know how much it costs now. But when I first started, it was like 150 for the first school, and then it's like an additional like 30 to $40. I don't even remember. It's been that long, but it's like
Wow.
for each school that you apply to, that you tack on another fee. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
there's scholarships that you can do, but it's like you have to apply within like the first like 2 weeks of like when CASPA opens, and it's
What?
kind of like hard to manage that too because you have like patient care hours or like prerequisites you still have to take.
Mhm. So here's a question because CASPA has officially opened, and for
Mhm.
anybody who doesn't know about those scholarships, could you take a minute to discuss them just a little bit, or?
Yeah, I can look it up, but I know that CASPA had like a fee waiver where it's like I think it's like the first like school or like first four schools. I don't really remember, but if you apply early and then you do their application, they'll waive the fee for you applying for those schools. But there's a caveat to that because when CASPA just opens, which is just now, when you submit your first one, all of your hours and all of your experience and your grades, they get locked in. So if you are taking like say classes in June for like summer school, and it's a mandated requirement for you to apply to a school, if you submit now, that's not going to be reflected on your transcript when you submit. So then when
Oh.
you apply to that school, they'll say like, oh, you didn't take this class yet, so they'll automatically reject you, right? So, yeah.
Oh, okay,
So there's
okay.
that, or like for example, a lot of schools in California, their due dates are like October, November, and for me, since I did a career switch, I didn't have as many hours compared to a lot of other people that were applying. So I was working like a lot from like May to like August, and I would say that's probably like what 800 hours right there. And so that could separate me from being a competitive applicant for being someone that's not competitive. But if I apply early, then I get the fees waived. So there's like things that there's like a push and a shove where you have to balance and see what's right for you as an applicant and see if you're strong, like a strong candidate.
Okay, okay. All right. So, have you had, I know you personally, you're saying that, you've been able to manage, but 230,
Yeah,
over $230,000 alone, still a lot as far as managing. But anyway, do you
yeah,
have any stories of any students that are at your school that had more of a difficulty or had any other problems,
yeah,
especially dealing with two financial aid places instead of one and all
yeah,
that other kind of stuff? So, do you have any
yeah.
stories like that or no?
I mean, a lot of it is just like communicating with everyone. We had like a Discord, which is just like a server for everyone in our like it's like a group chat for like 80 people in my cohort. And whenever like something happens or something is updated, we just text and massively text everybody and update everyone. So that's how everyone knew that like, oh, we have to talk to this person, submit this form so we can get like that kind of sort of thing. There's a lot of people also in my cohort, I think that's either like in military or married to military. So they get like a lot of like the GI Bill stuff. So like a lot of the financial issues don't affect them as much. There's also a couple people that are married. So like, their spouse is like taking care of them financially while they're going through PA school. But then there's people like me who just like basically either change careers or this is the career after undergrad, and we're just trying to like live day by day.
Exactly.
And so like for some things that really saved me money was knowing that now that I don't have a job, I actually qualified for Medicaid. And so like part of like that $217,000 bill, there's like about 10 grand that's like delegated just to insurance. So if you qualify for Medicaid, you qualify for that kind of insurance, that's like 10 grand that you get back right there.
Okay.
Other things would be like the schools have like food pantries, like some like for people that have like food insecurity. We there's like food pantries where you can access and get free food that way. And then also with my insurance, we had like this dietitian thing where if you meet with them, they'll give you like a $50 gift card. So I've been using that for groceries. Yeah, there's plenty of resources out there.
If I can pause you right there, there are actually students that are having issues with food insecurity, like in
Yeah.
school.
Yeah, well, it's not just like people in my program. Now that we're part of Old Dominion University, it's like the whole school as a whole. And so they
Yeah.
have food pantries for them. We also have like community gardens where like you can plant your, fruit and vegetables and then share it with everyone else. It's pretty cool.
I'm a little floored by that. That actually kind
Yeah.
of shocked me a little bit. I did not know that they set up food pantries for people,
Yeah.
for students. Like I'll be honest, man, because you're talking. All right, I'm old, so I'm 45 years old. I went to college from 1998 to 2002. There
Hmm.
was never any talk of like a food pantry, but then again, it was cheaper to go to undergraduate college then. Now, PA
Yeah.
school, that's totally another story. That was,
Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't I wasn't 200,000. I'm not comparing, but it definitely was quite a bit to go to PA school. But just undergraduate programs and stuff, because ODU is not just a PA school; it's an undergraduate and a graduate
That's right.
university. So yeah, that was a little. I took a couple of minutes because it was a little shocking to hear. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a new perk. That's one of the benefits with the merger. So
Okay. All right.
that
Okay.
we get a brand new gym.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? And that's a funny thing because I had somebody who was discussing all of the perks to go to undergraduate school, and I'm like,
Mhm.
it's not a perk. They're charging you for it
Yeah.
because that's why the tuition is a little bit more than it used to be. So you can have a
Hmm.
a lazy river or whatever, a new complex or a new,
Yeah.
all these new academic buildings and all this other
Yes.
kind of stuff. Now, some of it is grant funded. I'm not going to
Yeah.
lie, but please don't think that it's all coming from outside sources. Like you
Oh
are
yeah.
putting, yeah. So,
There's like these miscellaneous fees that I always see on my bill, and I'm like, what is this miscellaneous fee? But it's like it pays for like, up to date or like resources in the library, which is another thing I want to talk about. Like we have something called Access Medicine, which basically has all these PDFs of books that we can look up. And most of them are like the textbooks that are in our classes. But they also have other things, like for example, like studying for the pants. they'll have textbooks for like that, and you can access those questions. And so I've been using that to study for the pants as well. Because I know that like there's all these like other courses that you can pay like Smarty Pants, Blueprint, UWorld. That's like $300. So I'd rather pay nothing.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So your college has that available, right?
Hmm.
Okay, so that's a perk, but I think that's probably something that PA students should look into to see if their
Yes.
library actually has some of these things available so they don't
Yes.
have to pay for Smarty Pants or they don't have to pay for all of these things. Not that I'm trying to stop anybody from making money. Like
Yeah.
I'm a little bit of a capitalist in that aspect. I mean, if I was a total capitalist, I'd have my own practice, but I'm not 100% a capitalist, but also to for PA students who have a whole bunch of money in loans just to pull out that kind of money to do that kind of stuff. If there's ways that they can save a little bit of money going through the library to see if they have things available, or does your PA school
Hmm.
offer some benefits, that will be a little bit better for them to ask those type of questions, even to decide what PA school they go to.
Yeah.
Because just because the tuition, maybe if a couple of $1,000s less, if they don't have any resources for you, you'll end up spending more money in the long run. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. That's something to consider.
so anyway, okay, so let's talk about your move. The
Yes.
cost is because you didn't move by yourself.
No, well, I technically did, but yeah, I had some help.
Yeah. So how much did it cost to move from California? And
Okay.
ODU is in Virginia, right?
Yeah, it's in Norfolk, Virginia, so like by Virginia Beach.
How much did it cost for you to move from California to
All right.
Norfolk, Virginia?
Okay, so what I did was I actually shipped my car. So my program starts in January, and I moved in about like the end of November. And I timed it just right because I wanted to work my last shift at Kaiser, which is where I worked, and it was like Thanksgiving, and you get double pay. So it's like holiday pay and then your shift pay. So that was like the money that I would use, like that was my last paycheck that I would use to help me move everything in. And then what I did was I shipped my car. It took about a week and a half to go from California to Virginia, and I stuffed my car with as much stuff as I could. So like my trunk was full, my passenger seats were full of just my things, and then everything that didn't make it into my car because my car is not that big. I ended up so Southwest used to do this thing where if you fly there, you get like 2 free checked-in luggages,
Hmm.
and so my white coat ceremony was in January, and I paid for my mom and my dad to come see me from a white coat ceremony. And each my mom, my dad, and my best friend, they got like 2 bags of just my things. So I had like 6 luggages
That's
of all
smart.
of my stuff.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah. So that's how I did it. And then because it was Thanksgiving time, it was Black Friday. I bought all my furniture during Black Friday, so
Yeah.
I got like a really good deal on all of my furniture.
All right. Had one question in the chat. The college, are you talking about EVMS? Do you attend EVMS?
Yes, that is the same school. It just we changed the name after ODU merged with EBMS.
Okay. All right. So, whoever, Miss Marissa Williams, the answer to that question is yes. This is EVMS.
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. So, a couple of more questions, and then we're going to get into the part that most people want to know about financial ways to deal with that. The way that you've been handling, and you've already
Yeah.
mentioned a couple of them, but we'll talk about them in more
Yeah.
detail. But I just want to kind of boil down everything you told us now, ask a couple more, and then get into the nuts and bolts.
Sure. Sure.
So total over $230,000 in loans. You
Hmm.
applied to multiple schools. How many did you get accepted into?
Just one. Just
Just
this
one.
one.
So this was the only school you had the option of attending. So it's not like you
Hmm.
had multiple choices and you can actually look and see. It's not like undergrad where you have a whole bunch of choices.
Yeah.
Whatever school accepts you, you just got to take what they give you and you have to pay what they tell you to pay.
Right.
You have some undergraduate loans, and one thing that you have to worry about is having a cushion because you are I've only interviewed 3 of y'all, and all 3 of you have all said the same thing. The disbursements do not always come out on time.
Right.
So these are just things that PA students need to be aware of at this
Definitely.
time. So
Hmm.
now, here's a question.
Okay.
There are some people who are going to say, hey, you're going to graduate, you're going to make 6 figures.
Hmm.
Why should we care about the fact that you have all these hundreds of thousands of dollars in loans when you graduate, you're already going to be making a whole bunch of money anyway. So why should we care about this?
Well, it's important to know because even though you're making that six-figure income, you're gonna have to pay these loans back somehow.
Hmm.
It's very like I think like depending on the administration, there some people will like lower the interest so it's not so bad, and you'll pray that in 20 years you'll be forgiven if you worked in like the public sector. But for others, it's like, well, you're gonna have to pay these back, and then one thing that you got to consider when you're applying for jobs is they have some programs that do some tuition forgiveness, or will give you like tuition back for these the loans that you've taken. So that's another thing that you got, because if you just think about income by itself, it's like sure, like my first job will be like what 120,000 on average nationwide, but you have like $220,000 of loans, and then the thing is with the interest, there's this thing called compound interest where it's like if you don't pay the principal plus the interest, this balance will keep going up. And I know there's some stories of people who like, I just paid the minimum and I started with owing 217,000, and now it's been 5 years and I still owe $217,000.
Hmm.
And it's just like, why is it not go? Where's my money going? You know.
Hmm.
And so that's one of those things that you have to be aware of, and it's very important to factor in when you are applying to PA schools, and then also when you're applying for jobs, because this will help you make a dent in that. And then hopefully in like 10 to 15 years, when this balance is gone, you can actually feel financial freedom because you don't owe anybody anything.
Yeah.
But like there's like people that I know like from my faculty personally that they're still paying off their loans, and that's just how it is. They
Yeah.
consider it like a tax, like another tax on your salary.
And you know what? And that's the thing, because you will be paying taxes because you're in a higher income bracket.
Bracket.
And I know that it's layered, so I'm not going to, it's,
Yes.
you make a certain amount of money, you pay this much. Once you get to this level, you pay this much, and once you get to this level, you
Hmm.
pay this much. So I studied that because I know you're an accountant and I didn't want to seem
Yes.
stupid. But
Thank you.
but it's still a substantial amount of money that you'll be paying, into state, federal, Medicare, all that stuff.
Yep.
And then if you want to do retirement, you have to
Hmm.
pay something into that. And
Hmm.
I'll be honest with you, before I paid off my student loans, I would say that, and this is with retirement, so I'm going to say that I was contributing a small percentage of my money for retirement, but 65% of my check was gone
Yep.
as soon as it hit, because I lost 30 or something percent
On
for,
taxes.
yeah, so that's 35 gone, 10% retirement, and then paying the student loans. Like that
Hmm.
was like, yeah, I wasn't really left with a lot. So I think people really need to understand that once you graduate, if you want to do what you're supposed to do for your finances, insurance, and paying all that stuff, you're not going to come home with as much as you think. And I think
Yeah.
that that's something that should be said. So anyway.
That, and also you got to consider something called lifestyle creep, which is like, oh, I'm making a six-figure income, I should have like a nicer car, a nicer house. And so it's like all your expenses go up with how much money you're making, and then at the end of the day you're like, how am I still poor?
Exactly. Can I tell you I bought a motorcycle? But anyway, we're not going to talk
Yeah.
about me. All right. So, um, last question, and then we'll get
Yeah.
into the other part. Federal government states PAs isn't a professional degree anymore. Doesn't qualify for Grad Plus loans. They sent out a message recently saying that their
Mhm.
decision was officially final.
I know.
The AAPA and the PAEA
Yeah.
have said that they're going to file a lawsuit.
Yes.
And they also have the AAPA wanting to um, sign a petition as well. And
Yep.
I'm gonna post that petition on this before we leave. So if there are any PACs here, we got to talk about that petition that you'll need to do. But
And
what do you?
PAS.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you say to that? I want to know what you think about that.
So I'm I'm biased because I'm also on the AAPA HUD student delegate, and we're introducing like two separate, one resolution, one bill to update our I guess our agenda, I guess. But one of the things was recognizing that PA students are professionals as well, because there wasn't anything that explicitly said that. But to talk about this from the other side, I understand where they're coming from. I think PA schools are expensive. I mean, it's kind of crazy that we're paying $220,000, but here we are. But like, in terms of like, this is the career, this is how much money it costs for us to go. It's like, do we have any other choice but to pay it? No. So it's we have to, because this is the career that we wanted to do, and this is how much it costs to do it. And so when you limit the financial aid from Grad Plus loans, the people that will suffer are ultimately the students. We can say this is like, oh, this is a way for like institutions to lower like tuition and all that. But at the end of the day, before it even like, gets like to affect their books, the people that are applying, the people that are like, don't have a job or like are doing a career change, they're the ones that are affected the most by this. And then it might actually deter people from applying because, like I said, like, sure, $220,000 is a lot of money, but now you're thinking about high interest rates because the federal government, they subsidize the interest rates, so it's a lot lower. It doesn't hurt as much at the end of it. But when you're doing private loans, it's like, well, they have no they can take advantage of you by charging you like 15 to 20%. And so like I said earlier, when you're making like the minimum payment and you're still owing $217,000 after 5 years, with these type of loans it's going to be double. So it's like, well, now it's like almost like you could say it's indentured slavery because you're working to pay off a loan that you'll never be able to pay off. And
Thank you.
so that because of that, I would say that if the loans don't get approved or the caps get modified for us to be included in the professional definition, we're not going to have an incoming. We're going to be affected. The PA pipeline is going to be affected. So meaning that the PA students that are going to want to become PAs, they're not going to want to do it because they can't afford it. And so because of that, then you are going to have a decrease in the future of PAs. Right. And I remember reading somewhere that like 40% of the healthcare provider workforce now is APPs. And so we're going to also lose out to, I would say, NPs, because like one advantage that nurses have, NPs have over PA students, that they're allowed to work while they're in NP school. They're BSNs, they can work as nurses versus as PA students. We don't have that flexibility. We're pretty much stuck with studying and having a rigorous training schedule and clinical rotation schedule. And so we're stuck with the loans that we got versus it might be advantageous for other careers to do that. So I think it really will really hurt the PA career if we move forward with this as it's written. And I think that we should definitely qualify because by definition, they define what a professional degree is and we fit that. So, yeah.
Exactly. And I want to take this moment to go ahead and tell you all about the support Lawler bill to designate PA profession as a
Right.
professional tier. This is what the AAPA has right now. They already have the message composed. All you have to do is fill out your information here and send the message. And you know, I unchecked these two boxes, but you don't have to. But that's up to you. So yeah, please, 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 if you are a PAC, if you are graduating and about to become a PAC, if you can PA students do this one or do y'all have a separate one?
We can do this one.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
even if you are a PA student, please, please, please sign the petition. We need our voices heard. We need our voices heard. The lawsuit's going
Mhm.
out. We understand that, but they also need a petition to show that we are supporting this cause. So please, please, please do that. Okay. So I just wanted to do that quick plug.
Yeah, and I guess one note is that this takes into effect in July of this year. So a lot of people that are graduating, this won't affect us, but it will definitely affect the future. So I
Exactly.
think it's hard to like if since we went through this process and as PA students, like we only know we're the only ones that really know how this process is like, and it's already difficult financially for a lot of us. Imagine how much more difficult it will be for the future classes who won't have the access to the same ones that we do.
Exactly. 100%. I'm 100% on that. Okay. So, all right. So nuts and bolts. Let's talk about a couple other things. Well, the one major thing. I am a PA student. I have applied and got accepted into PA school. I have spent thousands of dollars to apply to PA school, or hundreds of dollars. I have gotten accepted. Oh, what was your fee to sit, like to reserve your seat? How much did you have to pay?
Oh, I don't even remember. I think it was like $500.
Okay.
but it ended up like being swallowed into the tuition. So
Exactly, exactly. Yeah. So
yeah,
you have to pay that up front though. So you pay five
yes, that's
hundred
right.
dollars, and now you go to school and they tell you, oh, you need to pay your tuition, which is 50 or 60,000, and you have to live off of 30 or 38. So
Yeah,
you need loans totaling $95,000. I'm just throwing this
yes,
number out here.
sure.
So I take out a loan for $95,000 and I get a check for a certain amount late, but I'll still
Yeah,
get it.
yeah,
From what y'all are telling me, it's late. Oh, it's gonna be
yes.
late. What what should I do with
Okay.
this money?
Sure. Okay. So first things first. So I'm also the treasurer for my cohort, and one of my speeches that basically like you have to write a speech for when you run for a certain thing is that you should definitely open up a high yield savings account. A lot of people don't know what this is, but it's like imagine like a checking account where you can put cash in, but the interest rate is a lot higher. And so I kept my money whenever I get my disbursement in a high yield savings account. And at the end of the year, just from having my money sit there, it was generating me about $250 in like just income. And that's just like from your money sitting there. So that's like money that I used for like my groceries and all that. And like what's beautiful about this is that it's not like a CD or like a thing where you invest where you're like stuck. So basically, these kinds of things where it's like a higher interest rate, but you're stuck for 6 months where you can't use them. When you use a high yield savings account, it's fully liquid, meaning you can put in money, you can withdraw money, and you can use that money as is. I think the only caveat is that a lot of these high yield savings account banks, they don't have like a specific like brick and mortar like bank building where you can go to. So like I keep my Chase bank account in case like I need to withdraw cash, but my main bank account is a high yield savings account that has a higher interest rate.
Okay, all right, that is a good idea. So we talked about high yield savings. We talked
Mhm.
about possibly applying for Medicaid, see if you
Yes.
qualify at least. That will
You
help
should
on.
definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's something else that you should do. You
Mhm.
talked about checking to see what school resources are available while you're there, because if
Yes.
you don't have to pay for um, resources to help study for PA school, you should
Yeah.
not. So go
Yeah.
to your library and check that out.
Hmm.
We have a couple of questions.
Sure.
First question is the petition is on the AAPA website. Yes, the petition is on the AAPA website. I'll be honest to you, I don't know all the links to get to it, but I think it's under AAPA advocacy, like it's an
Yeah.
advocacy campaign. So if you go to the AAPA website, find the advocacy campaigns, and I'm sure it's going to be there. So you don't have to worry
Yeah.
about that.
It's also on the
She
PAEA website too.
also on the what?
The PAEA website as well.
Yes, it's on the PAEA website as well. Next question is, can you choose how much to put in the high yield savings account? I'm assuming
Yeah.
that, yes, I'm
Yeah,
assuming that.
there's no minimum, which is great. I mean, there are others that have a minimum, but there are certain like the one that I use Capital One 360. There's no minimum.
Yeah, you know what I know about Capital One 360? I
Yeah.
used to have an ING direct account, and
Hmm.
it used to be ING before it switched over to Capital One
That's right.
360. So I used to have ING direct, so my stuff used to be online for a while too. Because when I tell you, again, not comparing to 230,000. I think I was at like 77, 80,000, but still,
Yeah.
when I tell you every dollar help,
Yeah.
I saw that interest rate, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do everything online. So
Yeah.
yeah, it worked. It did
Because
work out.
it's a big difference. Like if I were to just not have used a high yield savings account, but like a regular checking account, I would get like pennies on a dollar, maybe like a dollar. And then
Yeah.
like to get $200 plus back, that's a huge difference.
That's a big difference. That is a big difference, and every little bit helps. So,
Hmm.
is there anything else? Or because I wanted to,
Um, also scholarships help.
yeah, of
Like
course.
yeah, like to talk about your platform, but also like I won a scholarship from my program where I got it for basically doing most volunteer hours, and so like you can get money that way too. Not to you like you should hunt for it, like as in like you shouldn't volunteer to get the money, but like like just something to keep an eye on, and that also make sure that because it'll help you financially no matter what.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
anything does help. Let's see. Other than using high yield savings accounts, another thing like you could try and do, like the timing never really works, but sometimes they'll have like I did travel healthcare work with Aya Healthcare. They're like a traveler like a thing, and they have some things where it's just like per diem work, If you wanted to work on the weekends, you could. Don't recommend it, but you can. There's also like if like for example, if hospital goes on strike, they'll have like a surge or like a high rate for like working one day will be like the basically worked like a week in terms of money. There's some benefits to that too, but like for me it was PA school is hard enough where like you shouldn't work while you're doing school. Like I was coming from the guy who I did my prereqs and I worked two jobs at the same time while applying for PA school. And I'm telling you that in PA school, don't do that. Don't work while you're in PA school because it's
Yeah,
hard.
fair enough, fair enough. Okay, all right. Well, the way that I like to end these is because is the same is the I end them the same way every time, because I'm a huge fan of a guy named John Oliver. So one of the things that he does at the end of all his talks is he says, "What can we do?" So I think that I take a few minutes just to talk about what we can do. So if you are a pre-PA, what you can do is plan for the early expenses, plan for the paying to apply for PA school, understanding how much you'll have to pay in order to, if you have to go to interviews, understand what the cost is, that, and you also have to pay to reserve your spot once you get accepted. So keep all of that in mind as you save up money to apply to PA school. That's number one. Number two, research the PA schools, see what resources they have available, see if there's anything that you need that they provide for you for free that you won't have to pay for while either you're in PA school or you're about to leave PA school. If you are a PA student, please take Fritz advice. Consider applying for Medicaid. Consider getting a high yield savings account. I also don't think that you should be working, but if you have a license, you have some per diem work and all this stuff. That's that I understand that. And it was one more thing you said. I forgot. Oh,
Uh,
scholarships. He said, yeah,
yes.
apply for any small scholarships that you can get as well. So please, please, please consider doing that. And if you are a PAC, I cannot stress this enough, be a preceptor. Are all of your rotations in Virginia?
I had the option to do some outside of Virginia, but for the most part, most of mine were in Virginia, yes.
Okay, so one of the PA students that I interviewed, she said that her rotations are all across the country. Means that she's
Yes.
got to travel, she's got to pay for
Mm-hmm.
cost of staying in different areas.
Mm-hmm.
If you are a PAC and you live close to a PA school, precepting might be able to save PA students money because they would
Yes.
have to travel less. So
Yeah.
again, if you are a PAC, the thing that I'm worried about is that you need to precept. I believe that that is very, 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 very important. So please, please talk to your PA schools if you live near one and sign up to be a preceptor. You will save PA students money. I think that
You
that's
also
important.
get CMEs, right, for being a preceptor?
Yes, yeah, yeah. You do get category two. So
Yeah.
that's very important. It also helps out. One
Yeah.
last thing, please, please, please do not forget about the petition. We need your voices heard. Yes, the lawsuits are happening, but we need your voices heard. So the APA has an advocacy website, a campaign. Please go to it, put your name on it, sign it, and send it. That's important. Hold on for a second. Another question. The interest generated from the high yield savings account, is it monthly or yearly? How does that work if you use the money for monthly expenses?
Got it. So the rate that they give you is per year. So you have to divide that by 12, and then you divide that by 30 or ish, depending on how many days per month. And so the interest is based off of how much money you have in your bank account. So the more money that you spend, you'll eventually get less money per month if the principal balance decreases. However, it's still more than if you were to have gone using like a regular checking account because the interest rate is like 0.01, something crazy like that. So either way, I think you still win out by using a high yield savings account. It's just that you have to um, be aware that it might not be like a physical bank that you can go to for it. It's just all electronic. So
Yeah,
if you do need cash, you have to take into account that you have to transfer it from like your Capital One account to like a Chase or a Bank of America or whatever you have locally, so
yes.
you can
Yeah.
withdraw the money.
And that typically takes 2 days. I'll be honest
Yep.
with you. Yeah,
Yep.
3 days at the most on holidays, but it's typically 2 days. So,
Yeah.
all right, Fritz. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this. This is very important work. The live will be posted. I am going to make another video So once again, thank you all. Here, thank you all so much for tuning in. Just stay on for 1 second afterwards, okay?
Yeah, sure, sure.
All right, and stop recording.